What is up, Baggies fans, football fans, and sports fans, to the latest match review on the channel. Obviously, one I didn't attend, however, after doing a bit of digging and a bit of reading into, I feel confident enough to give myself my thoughts on the match that went on against West Bromwich Albion Portsmouth. It finished 1-1. It was one of those games that, looking up until a certain period in the game, could have gone either way. Both very well drilled teams. I will be getting into it now. Make sure you subscribe. We're well on our way to 600 subscribers and then the big 1K goal, which will be fantastic. So make sure you subscribe and hit the bell notification. Leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts on the game. And as always, make sure you like that button. We are aiming for 40 likes on this video. And unfortunately, it was a really, really good game that I missed. Portsmouth are a very, very tough side. And honestly, I think that they will be, towards the top half of the table come the end of the season. They've got a very good manager. And for me, it was probably a mixed feeling, should we say? Pride, frustration, and absolute disbelief at some of the refereeing decisions we witnessed today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break it down. I'm going to start with the football sections first, because obviously that's what we all pay to see. We all want to see good, great football, and both sides were fantastic. We've got plenty to take encouragement from, but at the end of the day, there is some areas that we really, really do need to improve on. First off, Mikey Johnston. What an absolute goal that was. Pure quality. This lad has shown flashes since coming in, and today he was rewarded with, the weekend he was rewarded with a starting position, and he really, really did look fantastic. Obviously, he doesn't work hard coming back as somebody like Grant, but what he offers going forward is so, so much more. And I think that's what we need to be looking at. We need wingers that are offering so much more going forward, and then almost leave the defensive work to the two holding midfielders. They need to be covering the spots and waiting for the wingers to drop in, allowing us to create more chances. It was fantastic to see him score. That goal when he hit it and it just dipped. It was absolutely lovely. Obviously, well deserved for him as well. The game against Wrexham, getting those two assists coming on, really was a game changer, and it really lifts this whole stadium seeing something like Mikey Johnston score. It gets the fans buzzing. It's the sort of spark that we've been needing for a long time from him. When the games are tight like they were up until that point, it was fantastic to see somebody like that just nipping inside and hitting the ball. It was one of those shots where they stood off him and he went, okay, well, I'm going to punish you for it now. And you could see the confidence in him growing as the game went on. It was really promising that he's, finding that form of possibly when he was on loan with us from Celtic. But as good as his strike was, and as solid as much as our overall play was, the fact that we've been pegged back again from a situation that we really should be dealing with, it's not the first time either. We really, really need to stop crosses into the box. How many games have we gone to last season where the balls will just keep coming in and we don't seem to be closing the cross down? And somebody like Portsmouth are going to punish you. And they did. What a fantastic goal by Bishop as well. Running across his man and getting the head across. What a powerful header, fantastic goal, not taking anything away with that. But that is something we need to be doing better. We need to be closing down the wingers and stop it. And somebody like Portsmouth as well, we know they're going to be playing with wingers because they've got two fantastic wingers. We know they're going to be trying to get balls in the box to the big target man. So stop the cross coming in. That's the first and foremost we should be doing. We should be getting tight enough to stop the crosses, not keeping him at our lengths to allow him almost the freedom of the pitch to whip the ball in. Because looking at the highlights, he didn't have any pressure on him whatsoever, so he could literally get his head up and pick the perfect cross. And for me, that is something where we are lacking in the fullbacks. Both Styles and Furlong do seem to just step off the man, more so Furlong. Styles did look like he had a fantastic game. But Furlong, you're a captain now. You need to be leading from the front. You need to be getting close to the man and stopping that ball coming into the box. Portsmouth are a well-drilled side. So as soon as they got that goal, they were going to be tough to break down again. And they were. We knew what was coming as soon as, the ball went into the box. Everybody in the ground could see it, I was been talking to my friend over the weekend about it, and they said exactly the same, that Portsmouth were just allowed too many crosses into the box. And eventually, keep putting the ball in there, you're going to score a goal. And it's something that we really, really need to work on. And I hope in the, couple of last games that we, get a couple of fullbacks in to help push either Furlong on and get him, his head in the game, or somebody to come in and replace him. And I just think we need to kill teams off as well. That's probably my next frustration. We've gone 1-0 up in every game so far this season that we've played. Blackburn, they didn't really offer us anything. The Derby game, nothing until the 96th minute of the game to equalise and then going on win on pens. Wrexham, 1-0 up and they pegged us back, and obviously we went on to win 3-2. Portsmouth, we go 1-0 up and they pegged us back. Yes, we had chances, we hit the post, and obviously the refereeing decisions, which I'll talk about in a bit. But we need to kill teams off. Obviously, they were very good keeping Price out of the game from what I've seen. They couldn't really get going through Price, so that's possibly something they've worked on. But we needed to, once we go 1-0 up, we need to be going on and getting 2 or 3 and really putting teams to the sword. That's how teams like, look at Stoke and Middlesbrough. When they get a goal, they go again. They don't just stop. Coventry, look at Coventry. 6 goals before half time against QPR. They just punished QPR. They didn't go 1-0 up and think, right, we'll kind of sit back onto it. They went and punished it. And I think that's where we need to know that we are good enough to punish teams, and we need to flick on and go, right, we're 1-0 up now. Their backs are against the wall. They're going to come at us. Let's go and push and get a second goal, and then the third goal, and really put teams to the sword and show that we are capable of doing it. And we know we're capable of doing it. We know we've got the players for it. But it just feels like the last couple of games, we've just been going 1-0 up and going, okay, well, come on to us now, and then we'll see if we can catch you. Something I'm sure Mason is well aware of, and something he's going to be working on with his players. Obviously, the transfer window's coming to us soon shortly, so we need to get 2 to 3 more players in. Definitely need a pair of fullbacks, and I would say a winger or somebody that can help ease the load a little bit on Heggebo, because again, he was absolutely fantastic for us. He's doing that lonely job up front, all on his own, trying to create something. The balls into the box to him haven't always been the best, but I think, as he grows into the game, and he was just being too honest. Now, everything that we can really accept that happened on the weekend, 2 points dropped, all comes down to something that is completely out of our control, out of the player's control, and then is the referee, Elliot Bell. It was nothing sort of shambolic from him. 2 absolute massive decisions that went against us, and they could have changed the course of the game massively. The first one, I still don't know how he's not seen this and it's not been given. He's perfect vision to it. You know, even the way the ball goes, he's come across him, took the player out, and yes, okay, he might have got a touch after it. In super slow motion, you'd have seen the touch after it, but he's took the man first inside the box. It's a penalty. We watched is it Dermot Gallagher on Sky Sports talking about it, and even he said, "How has a referee missed this?" The ball hasn't gone deviated anywhere to make it look like the defenders won the ball. It is an awful, awful, awful refereeing decision, and something that really needs to be, looked at in this almost not even league. I don't want VAR coming in because I think VAR just ruins the game. But it just needs something. We're fast tracking referees too quickly into really, really, almost priority leagues. Like the championship is massive for a lot of clubs. It can be make or break for them. And rushing a referee through to go and ref into the championship is not the way to be doing it. It was a stupid challenge from the defender. And I'm sure Portsmouth fans will come in and try and defend it and say he got the ball. But majority of you guys, full well deep down that that was a penalty. After watching every single angle and clip, it was a penalty. You can't come in from the side, take the man, and then try and get a little toe on the ball. It's a penalty all day long. And, potentially we score it, potentially we don't. But then the decision that comes out after that, 2 minutes later, would have completely changed the course of the game. Heggebo's played clean through on goal, and the defender's basically wanting his shirt, pulling it off him. There's a still from the Albion, and he's basically got his shirt over his shoulder. He pretty much wants his shirt. I think they should give players rippable shirts at this point just to show how much he was leaning on them and pulling his shirt back. And to, not even give an advantage, to just let it play on, it was absolutely ridiculous. It went on for 20, 30 yards of him just pulling his shirt, and the whole crowd could see it. The fact that not only the linesman, the fourth official, or the referee haven't spotted anything, it's a red card for the defender straight away because he's through on goal and he's the last man. So that's a straight red card straight away. But to not give anything at all, you don't need VAR, you don't need replays, you just need a referee with courage to apply the rules. And yet, unbelievably, the Portsmouth player stays on the pitch. Again, a massive one that could be game changing. Putting someone down to 10 men and losing a very key centre back for them would have been massively game changing. It would have probably opened up a lot more space for players to play the football like Isaac Price, like Fellows, like Johnston. But it was just, I don't see how the referee has seen the penalty decision and gone, it's not a penalty, and then seen him grabbing his shirt for 20 to 30 yards and gone, that's perfectly fine. What's going on in his head? We've had nothing from obviously the referees, PGML. We'll probably get an apology, just saying, we make an apology. And this is where something needs to change. Referees do need to be punished for like obvious mistakes like this. If a player gets sent off, they're missing a game. If a referee makes a poor decision, I believe the referee should come out and say, yes, I've made a mistake. And then he should be, pushed back a couple of games so he's not refereeing. Because otherwise they need to learn. they're going to make a mistake and go, well, I'm not getting anything from it, so it doesn't really matter. And then to make matters worse, Mason was showing his frustration at the decisions, as we all were in the ground, and he's the one that ended up getting sent off. Yes, you can say he does need to keep his composure, but in the heat of the moment, in a really tight league where things can go either way, the 2 point drop could at the end of the season could be massive for us. He's obviously, he's on the floor, slamming the floor, kicking it on a yellow card already. But managers should be allowed to show passion. If he's on the floor beating the floor, who is that affecting realistically? He needs to show that passion. We need managers to not be scared to say something. And I think that's probably the biggest thing. Sending Mason off at that moment was ridiculous. The players work their socks off and they're giving everything to wear the shirt. And when they're letting down by officiating, tempers are bound to boil over. To punish Mason and let Portsmouth off scot-free is just rubbing salt in the wound. Obviously, I don't think anything will be rescinded, and he will miss probably a really big game, an important game for us against Stoke now. And it's annoying. I think we all have every right to be annoyed, but at the same time, let's not lose sight of the bigger picture. It was still a very good performance against a very good Portsmouth side. They're not towards that top end of the table by accident. Yeah, they're organised, they're disciplined, and they're going to be hard to break down. To go toe to toe with them and to play the better football for long spells and to still be unbeaten in ourselves, that has to be seen as a positive. We've now put that run together, we're building momentum, we're showing resilience, and we're not easy to beat or break down. That's the foundation of a successful season. Of course, we'd love more wins, and to be 3 wins into the season after 3 games would be absolutely fantastic. We'd all love to see us putting teams to bed and putting absolute silly goals past them like Coventry did the weekend and keep that confidence high, but it does give us something to build on. So my final thoughts on this week: yes, there's frustration. Yes, we should know there'd be more from this game, and yes, the referee will rightly take a lot of criticisms for it. But don't let that cloud the fact that the Albion are looking strong. We're competing with the best, and we tidy up those small little details, closing down crosses, being ruthless in front of goals, and we'll turn draws into wins, and we'll be up there towards the end of the season. Mikey Johnston's goal was a reminder that we've still got quality in this side from anywhere on the pitch, not just up front, and we should all build on that. And I think it's an unbeaten run that can stretch even further. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below, and I will be doing a live stream for Coventry this weekend. So come into YouTube, come and watch it, doing a watch along. So make sure you're in for that one, and I'll catch you soon. Bye bye.